Hello, hi everyone. I hope you all are doing well, and I welcome you all to part 2 of electricity and circuits. So last video में हमने पढ़ा था कि electricity कैसे पास होता है. We have also learned about circuit कैसे complete होता है. एक electric cell पे दो terminals होते हैं, positive और negative terminals, और electricity या current हमेशा positive terminal से negative terminal के तरफ flow करता है. सो आज हम सबसे पहले पढ़ेंगे कि हाउ वी कैन मेक आवर ओन टॉर्च. वी विल लर्न अबाउट स्विच एंड वी विल लर्न अबाउट कंडक्टर्स एंड इंसुलेटर्स. सो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड. सबसे पहले लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड विथ हाउ वी कैन मेक आवर ओन टॉर्च. नाउ दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग एंड फॉर दिस वी आर गोइंग टू कंडक्ट एक्टिविटी 3. सो अगर हमें घर में अपने से अपना टॉर्च बनाना है, सो वी नीड जस्ट 3 बेसिक थिंग्स. वी विल नीड अ टॉर्च बल्ब, कुछ वायर्स और इलेक्ट्रिक सेल. ओके, सो वी हैव टू टेक अ टॉर्च बल्ब एंड देन पीसेस ऑफ वायर. अब ये वायर के जो एंड्स होते हैं जिसमें प्लास्टिक कवरिंग होता है, उन एंड से हम प्लास्टिक कवरिंग को रिमूव कर देंगे. ओके, सो रिमूव द प्लास्टिक कवरिंग एट द टू एंड्स ऑफ द वायर एज वी हैव ऑलरेडी डन बिफोर इन द अदर एक्सपेरिमेंट्स. अब इस वायर के एक एंड को हम रैप करेंगे एट द बेस ऑफ द इलेक्ट्रिक बल्ब. ये जो बेस है, यहाँ पे हम एक कवरिंग, एक वायर के एंड को रैप कर दिए और दूसरे एंड को हम फिक्स कर देंगे टुवर्ड्स द नेगेटिव टर्मिनल ऑफ द इलेक्ट्रिक सेल. सो हमने वायर के एक एंड को यहाँ पे फिक्स किया है बल्ब के एक टर्मिनल में, और दूसरे एंड को इलेक्ट्रिक सेल के नेगेटिव टर्मिनल में अटैच कर दिया, फिक्स कर दिया. वी कैन यूज द रबर बैंड एज वी कैन सी इन दिस डायग्राम. हम एक रबर बैंड के यूज से इस पोजिशन को सिक्योर कर सकते हैं. Now we will bring this tip of the base of the bulb. ये जो टिप है बेस ऑफ द बल्ब का, इसे हम इस पॉजिटिव टर्मिनल ऑफ द बैटरी के ऊपर रखेंगे. ओके, सो नाउ ब्रिंग द टिप ऑफ द बेस ऑफ द बल्ब, दैट इज द अदर टर्मिनल, इन कॉन्टैक्ट विद द positive terminal of the electric cell. Now, does the bulb glow? So your answer would be yes. As soon as the bulb is kept over the positive terminal of the electric cell, the bulb starts glowing क्योंकि circuit complete हो जाता है. Now move the bulb away from the terminal. अगर हम bulb को remove कर देते हैं, वापस से उसे दूर कर देते हैं positive terminal of the electric cell से, तो अब bulb glow करेगा. So now the bulb will stop glowing because अब circuit incomplete है. Okay, so is it not similar to what you do when you switch your torch on or off? So whenever we are switching on the torch, the light glows, and when we switch off the switch, the bulb stops to glow, right? So ये जो हमारा bulb का position है, वो act कर रहा है as a switch. So now let's learn about what is an electric switch, or can we make our own electric switch? Let's get started. Electric switch. So we had an arrangement for switching on or off a homemade torch by moving the base of the bulb away from the tip of the cell. अगर हम वो bulb को पॉजिटिव टर्मिनल के पास लाते हैं तो वो ऑन हो जाता है, उससे दूर करते हैं तो वो ऑफ हो जाता है. इट वाज एक्टिंग लाइक अ स्विच, राइट? सो दिस वाज अ सिंपल स्विच बट नॉट वेरी इजी टू यूज. इट वाज नॉट दैट इजी टू यूज. वी हैव टू मूव क्वाइट अ लॉट. Now, we can make another simple and easier switch to use in a circuit. So in activity 4, we are going to make a switch. Now, this is also very interesting. So let's get started with activity 4. You can make a switch using two drawing pins. ये जो यहाँ पे पिन्स है, इसे हम ड्राइंग पिन्स बोलते हैं. यूजुअली नोटिस बोर्ड में हम पिन्स लगाते हैं ना, तो दैट इज द ड्राइंग पिन. So we will need some couple of drawing pins. We will need the safety pin as well, or we can even use paper clip. Then we would require two wires, two pieces of wires, and a sheet of a thermocol. ये तो thermocol sheet है. So these are the things that we require for this activity. Okay? Thermocol, कुछ ड्राइंग पिन्स, सेफ्टी पिन, वायर्स, पेपर क्लिप भी है तो चलेगा. सो व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू इज हम इन पिन्स को थर्मोकॉल के अंदर इंसर्ट करेंगे. ओके, एंड व्हाइल वी आर इंसर्टिंग दिस पिन, ये जो सेफ्टी पिन की जो राउंडेड पोजीशन होता है, इसके थ्रू हम वो पिन को थर्मोकॉल के अंदर इंसर्ट करेंगे. ओके, So insert a drawing pin into the ring at one of the end of the safety pin and fix it on the thermocol sheet. So जो safety pin का जो rounded position है उसके through हम pin thermocol के अंदर insert करेंगे. And we have to make sure that कि ये safety pin easily rotate हो पा रहा है, easily ये free to move है. Now fix the other drawing pin on the thermocol sheet in a way that the free end of the safety pin can touch it. Okay, जो दूसरा pin है हमें उस जगह पे लगाना है कि ये जो हेड वाला पार्ट है सेफ्टी पिन का ये इसे टच कर पाए, ज्यादा दूर नहीं होना चाहिए. ऐसा ना हो कि वो जो सेफ्टी पिन है वो दूसरे ड्राइंग पिन को टच ही ना कर पाए. सो इट शुड बी अ प्रॉपर पोजिशन ताकि ये जो हेड वाला पार्ट है सेफ्टी पिन का ये दूसरे पिन को टच करे जब हम उसे रोटेट करें तो. So the safety pin fixed in this way would be your switch in this activity. So ये safety pin जो है ये act करने वाला है as a switch in this activity. So we have to make sure कि हम ये safety pin ऐसा position में लगा रहे हैं कि ये दोनों drawing pins को अच्छे से touch कर पाए. Now we are going to complete the circuit. Of course, we are going to use the connecting wires and we will be using electric cell and a bulb. So we will rotate the safety pin in such a way कि ये जो free ends है वो touch करे दूसरे drawing pin को. Now जैसे ही ये दूसरा end ये drawing pin को touch करता है, you will observe that the bulb starts to glow. Okay, so what you will observe that the bulb starts to glow. Now when you will move the safety pin away, अगर हम इसको वापस से दूर कर देते हैं इस drawing pin से इस position में ले आते हैं, अब ये circuit क्या हुआ ये सर्किट टूट गया. द सर्किट इज नाउ ओपन. नाउ विल द बल्ब कंटिन्यू टू ग्लो? सो योर आंसर वुड बी नो. करंट कंप्लीटली पास नहीं हो पाएगा. ओके, देयर विल बी अ स्पीड ब्रेकर. So as a result, the bulb will not glow anymore. So the safety pin covered the gap between the drawing pins when you made it touch two of them. Okay, ये एक bridge की तरह काम कर रहा था. So when the safety pin was touching both the drawing pins, it acted like a bridge, and as a result, the circuit was complete. The current was flowing, and such a position was considered to be the on position of the switch. Now, since the material of the safety pin allows the current to pass through it, the circuit was complete, and as a result, the bulb was glowing. ओके, सिंस ये जो हमने मटेरियल यूज किया था सेफ्टी पिन का ये एक मेटल है, ये मेटल अलाउ कर रहे थे करंट को पास होने के लिए अपने थ्रू. एज अ रिजल्ट सर्किट कंप्लीट हो गया, करंट पास हुआ एंड बल्ब वाज ग्लोइंग. बट ऑन द अदर हैंड द बल्ब डिड नॉट ग्लो व्हेन द सेफ्टी पिन वाज नॉट इन टच विद द अदर ड्रॉइंग पिन, क्योंकि द सर्किट वाज नॉट कंप्लीट because there was a gap between two drawing pins. So in this position, the switch is said to be in the off position. So what is a switch? Now we can define a switch. Switch is a simple device that can either break the circuit or it can complete the circuit. So switches are used in like all the devices. It is used in lightening of the electric bulbs and many various other devices in our homes. They work on this principle of switch. Okay, when we switch on any electrical equipment, you can see electricity will pass through it and that electrical device will start running. Okay, so most of our household devices, they work on the principle of switch. Although their designs are more complex apart from what we have used in this activity, but of course it works on this switch. So Buju has drawn inside of the torch in figure 9.11. So this is the inside of a torch. We will look at it. When we close the switch, the circuit is completed and the bulb glows. Can you draw the red line on the figure indicating the complete circuit? So we will indicate the complete circuit. But before that, let us look what is present inside the torch. So of course, we are having a bulb over here. Ye bulb produce karega light. Then we are having two electric cells over here. There is a switch, a slide switch for completing the circuit or breaking the circuit. एक plastic covering होता है, there's a plastic casing, and a reflector. Reflector के वजह से lights हर एक directions में spread करता है. Okay, these are the basic components of a torch. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to complete the circuit. We are going to use the red line in order to indicate the complete circuit. So as we have already learned, as we have already discussed, current always moves from positive terminal of the electric cell towards the negative terminals of the electric cell. So this is the positive terminal. The current will move from the positive terminal. It will move on towards the negative terminal of the other electric cell. As a result, the circuit is complete and the bulb will glow. Okay, so this is the circuit of the torch. So now we are going to learn about electrical conductors and insulators. So in our day-to-day life, we are using quite a lot of insulators and conductors, but we are not aware about what are insulators, what are conductors. So let's learn about it. So in all our activities, we have used metal wires to make a circuit. हमने जितने भी एक्टिविटीज कंडक्ट किए हैं इस चैप्टर में सब में हमने मेटल वायर्स यूज किया है राइट सपोज वी यूज अ कॉटन थ्रेड इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट मेटल वायर टू मेक अ सर्किट डू यू थिंक द बल्ब विल लाइट अप इन सच अ सर्किट हैव यू एवर वंडर्ड इंस्टेड ऑफ यूजिंग दोज कनेक्टिंग वायर्स अगर हम कॉटन के थ्रेड्स को यूज करते क्या सर्किट कंप्लीट होता क्या करंट फ्लो करता सो योर आंसर वुड बी नो cotton threads will not allow the current to pass through it. Okay, so what materials can be used in an electric circuit so that the current can pass through them? So let's find about the materials which will allow the current to pass through it. So let's conduct activity 5. Disconnect the switch from the electric circuit that you used for activity 4. So activity 4 में हमने जो electric circuit use किया था, let me show you all once again. So ये है हमारा circuit of activity 4. Okay. So अब हमें क्या करना है? We have to disconnect the switch. वो जो safety pin हमने use किया था, we have to disconnect the switch from the electric circuit. Now, this would leave you with 2 free ends of the wires. Okay. अब यहाँ पे 2 exposed ends है wire के. अब हम इन 2 free ends जो है wire के उन्हें close लाएंगे and we will touch them. We will make them touch to each other. Now, does the bulb glow up? Does the bulb light up? So your answer would be yes. Of course, it will light up. Okay, the current will move from the positive terminal through the bulb and reaches to the negative terminal. The circuit will be complete when they touch each other, and as a result, the bulb will glow. Yes, it will glow. Now you can use this experiment to test whether any given material allow the current to pass through it or not. So ये जो gap है इसमें हम different materials use करेंगे उसमें इन 2 ends में fix करके देखेंगे कि ये current को pass होने देते हैं या नहीं. Like for example, here we have used a key. Now key is made up of metal. So when you will connect the key to these 2 ends, the light will pass through the key and you can see the bulb is glowing. Okay, so ये जो metals है, metals will allow the current to pass through it. So collect the samples of different types of materials, like we can use coins, cork, rubber, glass, keys, pins, plastic scale, wooden block, aluminium foil, candle, sewing needle, thermocol, paper, and pencil lead. One by one, bring the free ends of the wires of your tester in contact with the 2 ends of the sample that you have collected. ओके सो ये जो हमने की यूज किया ये एक टेस्टर हो गया वैसे ही हमने डिफरेंट मटेरियल्स को उस फ्री एंड्स में अटैच करना है और देखना है कि बल्ब ग्लो कर रहा है या नहीं सो वी हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट द 2 ends do not touch each other otherwise circuit complete हो जाएगा बल्ब ऐसे ही ग्लो करेगा so does the bulb glow in each case so your answer would be no some of the material will allow the electricity to pass through them, some of them will not. So let's find out which of the materials will allow the electricity to flow through them. So सबसे पहले are the coins. Yes, coins allows, I'll write Y for yes and N for no. Cork, it will not allow. Rubber, it will not allow the current to pass through it. Glass does not allow. Keys, yes, it is made up of metals. It will allow the electricity to pass through it. Pins will allow the electricity to pass through it. Plastic scale, no. Wooden block? No, it wouldn't allow the flow of current. Aluminium foil will allow the current to pass through it. Candle will not allow. Sewing needle will allow the current to pass through it. Thermocol will not allow. Paper will not allow the electricity to pass through it. Pencil lead, it will allow the current to pass through it. Okay, so we are having a table 9.1. We are going to record our observations of the different materials that these objects are made up of and whether they are allowing the current to pass through it. And if yes, of course, the bulb will glow. So सबसे पहले is the key. Key is made up of metal. Metal allow करते हैं electricity to pass through it, and as a result, the current will flow, the bulb will glow. Eraser रबर का बना होता है. रबर के थ्रू करंट नहीं फ्लो कर सकता है, सो बल्ब विल नॉट ग्लो. स्केल प्लास्टिक के बने होते हैं, इसके थ्रू भी करंट पास नहीं होगा, द बल्ब विल नॉट ग्लो. मैच स्टिक वुड के बने होते हैं, वुड भी अलाउ नहीं करते हैं टू करंट टू पास थ्रू इट. ग्लास बैंगल ग्लास के बने होते हैं, ग्लास भी अलाउ नहीं करते हैं टू पास द करंट. एंड आयरन नेल, इट इज मेड अप ऑफ मेटल, दिस विल अलाउ द करंट टू पास थ्रू इट, and as a result, the bulb will glow. What do you find? The bulb does not glow when the free ends of the wires are in contact with some of the materials you have tested. This means that these materials do not allow the electricity to pass through them. Of course, अगर ये सारे materials use करने से हमारा bulb glow नहीं कर रहा है, इसका मतलब ये है कि ये materials करंट को पास थ्रू नहीं होने दे रहे हैं अपने में से. On the other hand, some materials allow electric current to pass through them, which is indicated by the glowing bulb. कुछ materials हैं जो allow करते हैं करंट को उनके थ्रू पास होने से, and as a result ये जो bulb है ये glow करता है. So materials which allow the electric current to pass through them, उन्हें हम कहते हैं conductors of electricity. And वो materials जो allow नहीं करते हैं to pass the electric current through them, they are called as insulators. So insulators do not allow the electric current to pass through them. So with the help of table 9.1, name the materials that are conductors of electricity and those which are insulators. Okay, so let's fill up this blank. So conductors will include metals like you can say silver, iron, copper, all these are metals and they act as a conductors. And insulators, they are of different materials, like they can be made up of glass, they can be made up of wood, they can be made up of plastic. Okay, so ये सारे insulators है, ये allow नहीं करते हैं the current to pass through it. What do you conclude? Which materials are conductors and which are insulators? Recall the objects that are grouped as those having luster in chapter 2. Are they the conductors? Yes, conductors, they have luster. Luster means they are having shine. Okay, ये जितने भी metals होते हैं, silver, iron, gold, copper, ये सारे conductors हैं और इन सब में shine होता है, luster होता है. So it now seems easy to understand why copper, aluminium and other metals, they are used for making wires, right? यही सारे materials use होते हैं to make wires because it will allow the current to pass through them. They are the conductors. Let us recall activity 4 in which we made an electric circuit with the switch. Remember, हमने safety pin use किया था as a switch. When the switch was in open position, where the two drawing pins were not connected with each other through the thermocol sheet. हमने ये जो drawing pin connect किया था through the thermocol sheet, right? Although they were in open position, current नहीं pass हो रहा था. But the thermocol you may have found is an insulator. Okay, वो जो thermocol था वो एक insulator की तरह काम कर रहा था. But what about the air that was between the gap between the safety pin and the drawing pin? क्या वो air नहीं conduct कर सकता है electricity? So since the bulb was not glowing in that open position where only air was present in the gap, वो जो gap में सिर्फ air present था, उस gap में भी बल्ब नहीं ग्लो कर रहा था, इसका मतलब ये है कि एयर इज एन इंसुलेटर, इट विल नॉट अलाउ द करंट टू पास थ्रू इट. So conductors and insulators, they are equally important for us. Switches, electric plugs and sockets, they are made up of conductors, okay, ताकि उसमें से current flow करे और electricity circuit complete हो, electrical circuit complete हो, electricity produce हो. On the other hand, rubber and plastic, they are also used, they are equally important. They are used as a covering of the electrical wires, plug tops, switches, and other parts of the electrical appliances because we are going to touch those parts. Agar wo bhi metals ke bane honge, then we'll get shock, right? So that's why other materials, insulators are used for making all these other parts. Now you have to make sure that we are very careful while using the electrical appliances because our body is a conductor. It will allow the current to pass through it. Okay, so your body is a conductor of electricity. Therefore, be careful when you handle the electrical appliances, especially when we are using or handling these electrical appliances when we are wet. Okay, so it is going to be very risky in that case. So with this, we have completed this chapter, electricity and the circuits. And I hope you all have understood this chapter and enjoyed it with me. So in the next part, I'll be providing you all with the solutions. Bye-bye. Take care.